The battle rages outside of Kaido's castle as the Minks unleash the full extent of their Sulong power. Luffy rushes to join his allies, but is halted by King and Queen. With the enemy closing in, the Straw Hats combine their strength and make a stand, attempting to pave the way for the future of the land of Wano.
On the next One Piece, overwhelming strength, the Straw Hats come together. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy continues his battle inside the banquet hall as he heads for the roof once more. But as the raid overtakes Onigashima, members of the Tobi Roppo take advantage of the chaos and cook up a surprise attack of their own. Setting their sights on Queen, they hope to rise in the ranks by stabbing their superior in the back.
On the next One Piece, a risky invitation, a plot to eliminate Queen. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Forming a Shaky alliance, Drake teams up with Zoro to repel Apu, while Luffy continues to aim for the castle roof. However, the Straw Hat Pirates are reluctant to accept Drake as a new ally. Elsewhere, Nami risks her life against one of the Tobi Roppo in order to save her cornered friends. But can she survive Ulti's onslaught of attacks?
On the next One Piece, a new rivalry, Nami and Ulti. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
As the Minks keep Jack at bay with their powerful Sulong forms, Queen unleashes rounds of plague bullets upon the masses as he faces off against the samurai, Zoro and Drake. Meanwhile, the members of the Akazaya 9 close in on Kaido. Now they gather their strength for a battle that has been 20 years in the making.
On the next One Piece, a heroic blade, Akazaya versus Kaido, again once more. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
While Luffy and his allies continue their struggle inside the crowded halls of the castle, the Akazaya samurai prepare for the long-awaited battle with Kaido. Recalling the memories of their lord, they bring forth the secret technique of Oden himself and unleash a power that can fell even an emperor of the sea.
On the next One Piece, an inherited technique, unleashing Oden's secret swordplay. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Our hero, Mr. Luffy, has been kicking ass in the land of Wano. After lifting up the downtrodden, as usual, he's teamed up with some samurai to take down Kaido. Now I, Bartolomeo, have the honor of retelling his tale of adventure while we get pumped up for the big battle. On the next One Piece special episode, Barto's Secret Room. Mr. Luffy's gonna be king of the pirates!
Danger is everywhere as an endless barrage of bullets rain down on Performance Hall. The merciless lead performer Queen lives up to his reputation with his latest biological weapon, Ice Oni. Droves of contaminated victims begin to swarm Luffy's allies as the infectious virus takes its course.
On the next One Piece, the power of Ice Oni, a new version of the Plague Rounds. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Momonosuke and Shinobu run for their lives, finding nothing but chaos everywhere they turn. Hungry to seize victory, the officers of the Beast Pirates attack relentlessly from every direction. Meanwhile, the Plague Rounds wreak havoc on the Samurai Alliance, enraging Chopper as he vows to put an end to Queen's cruelty.
On the next One Piece, I won't forgive him! Chopper's determination! I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Showing the courage of the true Oden, Yamato takes on Sasaki and the Armored Division in hopes of protecting Momonosuke. Meanwhile, Zoro staves off the Ice Oni as Chopper struggles to think of a cure for the quickly spreading plague. An answer comes from Queen himself, but it only guarantees more chaos and carnage.
On the next One Piece, Zoro's Pursuit, Ice Oni Tag! I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
While Queen's deadly game of Ice Oni Tag carries on, Nami and Usopp are pursued relentlessly by Page One and Ulti. When they're forced to fight at last, Ulti dominates with fearsome headbutts. An exhausted Nami is ordered to renounce Luffy or face annihilation. Standing at death's door, she recalls a promise from the past.
On the next One Piece, Nami surrenders, Ulti's fierce headbutt. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
A fierce battle erupts in the right brain tower. The armored division, led by Sasaki, showers countless attacks on Yamato, who bravely defends Momonosuke with his life. Elsewhere, as Frankie continues to struggle with Hacha and Marco prepares for the worst, powerful allies, both new and old, lend their aid to the fight.
On the next One Piece, Sasaki's Onslaught, Armored Division versus Yamato. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy keeps running towards the roof where the Akazaya samurai are locked in combat with Kaido. Meanwhile, Kid pushes forward, tearing through his foes. Law closes in on the mystery of the people of the Deed. And finally, Chopper uses his magical skills to conquer the Ice Oni Plague before it takes him as well.
On the next One Piece, eliminate the Ice Oni, Chopper's Fire Trick. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Hearing a beautiful woman crying for help, Sanji bursts into the banquet hall but soon finds himself trapped in the enemy's web. Now Sanji's weakness is exposed as he comes face to face with Black Maria, the Tobi Roppo. With the other Straw Hats facing their own struggles, things begin to look dire for the hapless chef.
On the next One Piece, it's not okay! The spider lures Sanji! I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Kaido begins the new Onigashima project, floating his entire island through the sky. Unable to reach the roof, the Straw Hats are pinned down by Kaido's most powerful minions at every turn. Soaring through the chaos of the battlefield, Marco unleashes a vortex of flames, providing a last-minute chance for Chopper to turn the tide of battle.
On the next One Piece, a turnaround move, the flames of Marco the Phoenix. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Yamato shares a tale of his past with Momonosuke and Shinobu. A few years before Luffy set sail on his adventure, Ace visits the land of Wano hoping to take Kaido's head. After clashing with Kaido's son, igniting the skies of Onigashima, Ace's words inspire Yamato and light a fire in his heart.
On the next One Piece, Yamato's past, the man who came for an Emperor of the Sea. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Zoro gets a hand from Marco, who takes to the skies in hopes of delivering the swordsman to the battlefield atop the castle. Remembering his fallen comrade Ace, Marco pushes forward in the name of a new generation of pirates. However, King and Queen threaten to unravel the plan before Zoro can aid the Akazaya samurai.
On the next One Piece, Marco's Tears, the bond of the Whitebeard pirates. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Yamato's dark heart opened up when he met Luffy's brother Ace. Years later, upon his demise, Luffy also pledges to better the land of Wano for its people. With the Akazaya samurai at his side, he marches without fear to face the nation's mightiest foe. After 2 decades of pain, the battle finally begins.
On the next One Piece, Straw Hat Luffy, the man who will become the king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Mr. Luffy's the man, but Mr. Zoro and Mrs. Sanji ain't nothing to sneeze at neither. They are crucial and kick-ass members of the Straw Hat crew. Now, they've been doing some heavy lifting in the land of Wano, but don't take my word for it. So join us, won't you, as we relive all these amazing adventures. On the next One Piece, a special episode to admire Mr. Zoro and Mrs. Sanji, Barto's Secret Room 2. Mr. Luffy's gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy unleashes the furious Red Rock. This new all-out attack has Kaido reminiscing about the strongest warriors he's ever faced. However, an unintentional rivalry emerges between Luffy, Law, and Kid. With the pride of the worst generation on the line, who will emerge victorious?
On the next One Piece, the Battle of the Monsters, the 3 stubborn captains. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy and his allies begin a coordinated assault against Kaido, unleashing their most powerful techniques. But the Emperor's defenses will not be breached so easily, even with the aid of Zoro wielding Anma. When Big Mom enters the fray, the enemy seems insurmountable until Luffy pushes through with a furious flurry of punches.
On the next One Piece, a barrage of powerful techniques, the fierce attacks of the worst generation. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy unleashes the relentless fury of his Kong Gatling high in the sky. Even Kaido's unshakable scales buckle under the pressure of Luffy's furious fists. But Luffy's stamina won't last forever, and if he wants to survive another round, he'll need to rely on the help of his allies to hold off two unstoppable Emperors of the Sea.
On the next One Piece, Kaido laughs. The Emperors of the Sea versus the new generation. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Although she lacks the combat prowess of her allies, Otama's desire to save the land of Wano is as strong as anyone. As she dashes through the battlefield of Onigashima, a plan that only she can execute begins to come together. With a little work and a little snack, Kaido's overwhelming army may begin to topple from within.
On the next One Piece, Otama's secret plan, Operation Kibidongo. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!